From MTN News, this is Positively Montana.
Welcome to this edition of Positively Montana. I'm Andrea Lutz. From east to west, north to south, and no matter the age, there are heroes in every part of our state. We begin in Missoula with MTN's Megan Mannering and one unsung hero.
An unsung hero is often a person who doesn't feel they should be recognized, someone who supports the community without ever asking for anything in return. Well, that is the case through and through with Madison Rutledge, a Missoula woman who is known for her compassion and kindness to her family and coworkers. Even when the unthinkable happened, Madison continued being a light for those around her. These two go way back.
When we were in 6th grade, about halfway through the year, Madison moved to C.S. Porter from Lolo Middle School, and we were placed as partners in a home ec class, and we bonded pretty instantly after that.
This friendship, built in a middle school classroom, is the same friendship seen here, mid-20s, catching up on life, and working together at the Big Dipper. Jordan, the general manager, and Madison, a team lead. According to Jordan, the world would be a little sweeter if everyone had some Madison Rutledge in them.
In her position, she shows compassion to everybody that she works with. Everybody loves her. She's easygoing and always in a good mood.
In an environment where a lot of the employees are working in their first real job, Madison's compassion means everything.
I really like to remind people, like your well-being comes first before the ice cream. Like, it's just ice cream, it's not a big deal, you can take your time. We don't want this to be a stress in your life.
And when the lights dim at the Big Dipper, Madison is busy building her own business where she offers breathwork healing classes, a type of meditation that improves physical and emotional health.
Whatever emotion you're having, whatever like anger, sadness, joy, whatever it is, because we experience it all in breathwork, like I'm here for it.
Just being able to help people move through trauma and difficult emotions and limiting beliefs, that's like my true passion, and breathwork was a great way for me to start doing that.
So focused on helping others through trauma and hardship, Madison never could have predicted the tragedy she'd face in her own life. Tragedy only really felt when you lose someone as important as your mom.
We found out at the end of April that she had stage 4 cancer. It was completely unexpected. She hadn't really had any symptoms up until that point. And so we did think it was COVID that had been lingering, that she didn't know she had, but then she got scans and it had metastasized.
Less than a month after she was diagnosed, Madison's mom was gone.
She was the quintessential mom. She loved to cook and clean and take care of everybody. Like, even the cat was always taken care of, getting treats and the best food. And there was always food in the fridge. Like, I didn't have to worry when I was over at my parents' house. And now that has definitely shifted. My dad, he struggles with PTSD and epilepsy, so I've really had to step up there and make sure that he's being taken care of, whereas before I was able to just not really have to think about it. And so definitely some new responsibilities, but I'm just taking each day, with some grace and ease and trying not to get too overwhelmed.
Madison will tell you it's the people like Jordan who have carried her through this time. And Jordan will tell you Madison was already resilient.
It was hard, but also just really inspirational to watch her go through it so gracefully.
An unsung hero to her friend, to her coworkers, her family, and people she hasn't even met yet who will need her help in their own healing. Madison knows her mom would be tickled to see that her daughter is making such an impact.
I've already heard her in my mind being like, I'm so proud of my baby. And that's my baby girl up there. Like, she was always so proud of me and always saw the best in me. So she wouldn't have been that surprised, but she'd be telling all her friends to go watch the news. And yeah, she was always, even when I thought I wasn't doing very good or wasn't far enough ahead, she was my #1 supporter.
In Missoula, Megan Mannering, MTN News.
Music is capable of moving us in many different ways. Just ask Candy Holzer.
I think just seeing the children's eyes when they try an instrument, that's the first thing that I'm so impressed by. They make one note out of a trumpet and they're so excited.
After 27 years as a school teacher, Candy found a new career as the Education Outreach Director for the Billings Symphony, starting up programs to take music into schools, hospitals, and nursing homes, and working with diverse populations like dementia patients.
But they would come out, and they'd begrudgingly come out and sit in their chair, and then I'd give them a drum, and they would start playing it right away. And then we always had a couple of musicians to play some background music for them, and then they would get started with the beat. And it was great, especially when they got up to dance.
Helping spread the magic of music has been one of the most rewarding parts of the job, she says, traveling to other communities away from Billings and also into some places that you might not expect.
My main baby is I developed a guitar program at the women's prison. And over the last 7 years, we've been teaching the ladies guitar lessons. We've had women leave and teach guitar. We've had women leave and play guitar at their church. We've had women who are interested in composers because of the guitar class, and they drew pictures. In fact, I brought some of them today. She did it out of mascara. Wow. And something else. It's just bringing the joy of music to enrich their lives. We hope that when they leave the prison, they'll continue. And I just remember going past the prison on my way into work, and I always thought, I wish I could serve those ladies in some way, because all of us are a little distance from going to prison sometime in their life. And
after 16 years of serving others with the symphony, Candy is retiring from full-time work. She was diagnosed with a serious form of cancer and given 4 months to live, but that was 2 years ago, and she's still hanging in there and still believing in the power of music.
I'll miss everything. I'll miss the musicians. I'm gonna cry. I'll miss the staff. I'll just miss everything. It's the best job anybody could ever have. It's just been totally enjoyable for me.
In Billings, I'm Russ Friesinger reporting for MTN News.
Being surrounded by family is one of the most important things to Marjorie Mihelish, and a big one at that.
I have 7 grandchildren and 6 greats.
She also turned 100 years old. Now, when it comes to birthday wishes, she couldn't have wished for anything better than being with her family. And after being isolated during the pandemic,
horrible, because I had to stay in this apartment for 1 year. It was pretty difficult. They even brought our food to us here. We couldn't go out anywhere. Couldn't go outside.
Yeah, say hi.
But don't think COVID-19 kept her granddaughters from showing their love and support.
Wave. You're so cute, Grandma.
And when it comes to love, she was married to Frank Mihelish for almost 80 years. She said she met him on a blind date.
And she said, my brother's coming to town. Would you date him? I said, I can't, I'm engaged. Oh, yes, you can. So I did. I dated you. And 3 months later, we were married. 3 months. And I only saw him every other weekend.
From there, she moved from Idaho. She and Frank raised their family and called Helena home.
I feel Montana has been very good to me and to my family.
And when it comes to being 100,
I'm surprised that I've lived to be 100. And you know, it doesn't faze me at all. I may make 110.
In Helena, Phoenix O'Connor, MTN News.
Now we tee it up and go golfing for a cause, a celebrity tournament making a difference in the youth sports community. We'll take you there in just a bit.
Welcome back to Positively Montana.
Well, here in Lewistown, there's a rich summer tradition of going to bat, so to speak, to keep local youth sports thriving. And it all starts right here on this Pine Meadows golf course. This is Murray Bromwell, who spent 7 years as a defenseman in the National Hockey League. He and former NHL buddy Greg Smith are sort of a 2-for-1 deal every summer, volunteering to play in the Lewistown Charity Golf Classic.
You know, the first couple of years he asked me, and I said, I got stuff going on. Then I got up here and I go, I can't believe you didn't ask me sooner.
Ron Heller played 12 years in the NFL, offensive line. He's not the best celebrity golfer in the field, but he may be the best storyteller from those NFL days.
The whole drive up here, I'm thinking, I got to come up with some new stories. I got to tell some stories that somebody hasn't heard. But apparently I talk a lot and they've heard them all. So anyway, I keep getting asked to repeat them, and I will.
Heller says he's over 20 years into this tournament, but it started almost 40 years ago as the Jim Perry Celebrity Classic. Lewistown's Jim Rutherford is a big reason it's still thriving.
Jim Perry was a good friend of this Hank Hansen in town, and they went out to Legion Park, and Jim said, well, you guys need to get a better Legion field. And so he is one that actually started, and all money all went to the Legion.
As local residents showed more interest, they also brought more ideas on where else tournament money might help. Always focused on youth sports and venues around Lewistown.
You know, and back then we would only get maybe $3,000 or $4,000. Last year we donated back $11,000.
And through the years, it's transitioned from national to mostly Montana celebrities. Frank Thompson explains why.
Jim was kind of aging a bit, the tournament was aging a little bit, and so we decided to come up with a new idea.
It cost so much to fly all the celebrities out here. We weren't giving much money back to the community, so.
Montana sports people who have done wonderfully in the world of sports. So we kind of put feelers out around the state and found a lot of folks that were willing to donate their time to come up here and help us out.
College coaches and athletes, newspaper writers and sportscasters, including Brent Musburger, Major League Baseball, NHL and NFL players. Heller even dragged in his Super Bowl winning buddy Jim McMahon, quarterback of the Chicago Bears. If you're wondering where this tournament rates for celebs, Heller was invited by friend and NFL offensive coordinator Marty Mornhinweg to attend Mornhinweg's induction to Saturday's Montana Football Hall of Fame, and he had to decline.
I worked with him with the New York Jets, and I think the world of him, and I really wanted to be there to support him, but I already committed to come here, and this is something that I've been coming to since 1998.
PGA player Tom Weiskopf stopped by a couple years ago and even helped redesign this difficult par 3 sixth hole at Pine Meadows, saddled with a giant tree in front of the green.
And Tom said that he'd never played a par 3 dogleg right. So we left the tree, but we've expanded the green.
Now they estimate a dozen venues benefit from this tournament, including this high school softball complex, also housing Montana's Softball Hall of Fame. They're seeing improvements to the swimming pool, water slides, and the nearby skate park, the ice rink, and the Golden Eagle High School golf program. Naturally, the Legion baseball field is also greatly improved, and this is construction on a new soccer field southwest of town. Golfers even chipped in for this new town pavilion, which celebrated its grand opening with food trucks and live bands just Saturday, coincidentally the same day as this year's Charity Classic. If you were to guess it through the years, almost 40 years, how much you guys have kicked back to the community?
It's probably $500,000.
But ultimately, kids are at the heart of this tournament, and that's why a lot of these same sponsors and players are as well.
Brings me back to when I was growing up and all the people that helped me out to get where I was going.
We all played as kids. I was in organized sports when I was 7 years old all the way through. Money's a big issue, and if you could give a kid a break by supplying some equipment and stuff like that, it's a good cause.
At Pine Meadows in Lewistown, Scott Breen, MTN Sports.
The East Helena Rodeo is set to begin next week. Many are excited because it was canceled last year, but none are more excited than an 11-year-old girl bringing her talent to the rodeo on horse. This is a performance showcasing displays of athleticism and a connection between horse and rider. Audrey Snellman describes it as,
"It's like doing gymnastics on my horse."
The 11-year-old started exploring this style of riding before the pandemic.
I was doing tricks on my horse, but not like the ones you see, just like standing up in my regular saddle and just messing around, hanging off the side, like nothing super safe, nothing with the correct straps. So I couldn't do it because it wasn't safe.
It wasn't safe until a year ago during COVID. Audrey's trick riding coach had her rodeo season canceled, and as she traveled through Montana to head home, she discovered Audrey via social media.
And someone tagged my mom in that post saying, "I bet Audrey would love this." And so she came up and I got a lesson. I was really nervous. I didn't have any of my own equipment. I just brought my horse and I fell in love with it. It was a lot of fun.
With a year's worth of practice, Audrey is already in the arena performing for live audiences. It's in those live performances Audrey's mother can see trick riding being a part of the family.
Seeing people there and the people enjoyed it and she enjoyed it really made me think that it was something that was going to stick. She wasn't nervous at all. She was super pumped. She's still super pumped. So that part has made me really think that it's something that might last for a while.
Audrey now fills her busy schedule of gymnastic camps and 4-H activities with trick riding at different events. The next one is the East Helena Rodeo during the specialty acts. You can see Audrey's trick riding July 9th and July 10th in the East Helena Rodeo. She also has a goal to perform at the Last Chance Stampede one day. In East Helena, Alexi Guayo, MTN News.
Thanks for staying with us for today's Positively Montana. Over the next several minutes, some stories to satisfy your taste buds, starting with a group that's historically interested in getting rich. Now it's about organic produce. MTN's Dennis Bragg gives us a taste test.
I'm Dennis Bragg in Phillipsburg. A healthy idea that emerged last spring during the pandemic is on its way to becoming permanent. But backers of an idea to share food here in Granite County say they could use a new location. Lee Dollard and her friends were just starting Phillipsburg Food Share when the pandemic hit, using social media and innovation to soldier through and catching the attention of shoppers Brock and Ashley Long.
I didn't know it was a nonprofit at the time. I'm like, if they ever sell it, let's buy that. That'd be a fun business to run.
And this past winter, they got their chance. Now the Longs are continuing the pipeline of fresh and organic products.
We're using two main sources. The first one would be Western Montana Growers Co-op, and then our other one is Charlie's Produce, which is based out of the Northwest.
What makes their store different is their absolute love of food and how to prepare it.
There's a guy that owns a convenience store in an old Western, and someone comes in and says, "You've never tried this product?" Like, "No, I've never tried it." Like, "No, we're going to try everything, and we're probably going to give like recipe suggestions, and we try to pair food that's in here each week so that there is things that mesh well together and cook well together."
I mean, there's just certain things that people haven't even heard of, and then they come in here and then they ask questions, and it's fun to have already experimented and made a meal with that.
Good, where's home? Durango. Oh, sweet.
And now that it's summer, more of those shoppers are visitors appreciating the variety.
And of course we have, a huge array of locals, but it really is fun to have the tourists coming in and then finding out their stories, finding out what made them decide to come into our store.
With hopes of providing more healthy grab-and-go foods for all those tourists.
They're coming here and they're doing all the fun things, but they also need to eat. And why not be able to use our fresh produce, our local produce, and create something for them.
The Longs really appreciate the Phillipsburg Theater letting them use the lobby several days each week, but need more space. They'll continue donating surplus to the food bank each week, but are actively looking for a larger location with a kitchen and more refrigeration.
But we are looking for a space that we can expand, have an actual kitchen in, and then that allows us to expand what the food share is giving back to the community, allows us to grow, and the sky's the limit. We're looking for a kitchen.
Also hearing from more and more local farmers and producers.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is the more local, the better.
How do you decide what they have for dinner tonight when you have all these choices?
My parents are in town. We've cooked like the last 6 nights in a row, so we might get pizza tonight.
In Phillipsburg, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
In the summer, places like Madison, Buffalo, Jump State Park, the terrain could be a little rugged, if not hot. Whew. So on a day like today, what sounds really nice is some cookies and some water, right?
So you can leave it to Karen Rose near Three Forks, who is doing just that, making cookies her specialty, making a big difference in a little way.
It's
just some little thing I can do to make someone pull away and smile.
Who doesn't love cookies? In a sense, I made a hike in 90-degree heat from Buffalo Jump to Karen Rose's house, about a mile, and I do it again. Why? Karen's Cookies, on the side of Buffalo Jump Road for more than 5 years now.
I think I only had one cooler then, and I think I probably baked every 3 days. And now I probably bake 3 times a day.
Inside those coolers, your choice of peanut butter or chocolate chip cookies and water, along with a little jar for money and dog treats, welcoming more travelers each summer.
More people started venturing out during the pandemic.
This makes my trip worthwhile out here then, you know, to get some good cookies. Because I'm on a diet, you can tell.
But this cookie jar was left wrapped in a bag and just inside my door. That's just a little gift that you can store your cookies in. Thank you for making our day when we came out here.
Starting from a red radio flyer, now with a Western style update, and it's all on the honor system. But yes, she has been robbed. Still, that won't slow her down.
Yeah, it's not really about the money. That's why I don't quit. If it was, I would quit when I was robbed, right? If it was all about the money. But it's not.
Each dollar helps. Karen wears more than a baker's hat. She also runs several Airbnbs and hosts farm-to-table dinners for anyone who needs it.
Anyone listening, you could come out. I've got 60 movies.
Oh, and a movie theater, also for everyone.
You wake up in the morning, you make a decision. Are you going to do that today? And to me, I don't want to let a day go by that I can't do that. That's my goal every day, is to try to impact someone's life in a positive way. This is probably the only thing I didn't expect about this, is any credit. First of all, it's easy to do good.
So if you love cookies, Karen says she'll be there on that roadside for years to come.
I'm going to keep doing this no matter how many times I get robbed, because I believe in it.
Near Madison Buffalo Jump State Park, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Glad you could be a part of today's Positively Montana. We hope to see you again next week, highlighting our state's wonderful communities. Have a great day.